Okay, welcome back to more Great Ace Attorney. We're gonna get started right away on the third case, or the eighth case rather, as I keep calling them. So let's get to it.
The grand end of the century Great Exhibition of London. Surely there is not a soul who has failed to hear of it. Wondrous new works of culture and industry from every corner of the globe had converged on Hyde Park, welcoming over 50 million visitors. The last great hurrah of this century. Astonished and delighted people of all nations, and ended on a note of resounding success. But as regards to the terrible catastrophe that occurred during the festivities, very few are aware my friend Mr. Herlock Sholmes had a hand in unraveling the matter. For from the shadows, it was he who earnestly unearthed the facts of the case. And like the centerpiece of the Great Exhibition, which rose high into the skies of Hyde Park, Sholmes's brilliant deductions, as clear and lofty as the Crystal Tower itself, brought the truth to light.
Okay, this is getting interesting.
We're here at the showground of the Great Exhibition, which is absolutely packed with people. The weather is unusually fine, and we're about to witness a most extraordinary scientific experiment.
Oh boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 20th century will see steam engines and electrical power dominate the world.
Okay, I mean, he was right about one thing.
Horse-drawn carts will give way to the motor car. Ships will sprout wings and take to the skies.
I mean, he's not wrong.
And today, we showcase even more advanced technology. A glimpse into the future.
Oh?
A world first. A demonstration of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine.
The what now?
A man will literally be disassembled by a pulse of high voltage electricity and beamed to another location.
I'm sorry, what?
Whereupon his body will be reassembled by a series of complex calculations exactly as it was before.
Uh-huh. Hopefully this doesn't go wrong.
In but a few moments from now, this gentleman will, in the blink of an eye, complete an incredible journey through the air. To arrive an instant later on the Crystal Tower behind you!
What? No.
This one, yes! Whoa! Yes!
Please tell me this has been tested. That can't be good. Uh-huh. Hopefully that didn't go poorly. Bruno, are you listening? Oh, sorry, what was that, Iris? What's the matter with you? You've been miles away all morning. Didn't you like what I cooked for breakfast? No, that's not it at all. That's not it. Don't look at me like that. No. What are we talking about again? Today's paper is full of news about the Great Exhibition today again. Yes, the Great Exhibition. I'd like to go sometime. You're really not your usual self today. You seem very down. Don't you agree, Hurley? Oh, Did you say something, Iris? Oh gosh, you're even more down. What? When did you arrive, Mr. Naruto? I've been here for half an hour already. We had breakfast together. What? Why did you mention it before? I thought you might have known I was here, you know, because breakfast? Iris is quite right. You're clearly lacking in vim. So much so, I didn't even notice your presence. Thanks. Of course, I could declare the reason perfectly well with some simple observations. What? Let's see. Yes, for example, your tousled hair this morning with all its unruly spikes clearly can be deduced. Therefore, that, let me stop you there, Mr. Sholmes, because I think I can see where this is going. My hair always looks like this. It always has. Ever since we first met, in fact. Oh really? How interesting. It just doesn't look like a haircut as such, I suppose. Thanks again. It crossed my mind recently that it's been 6 months now. 6 months? Since I was forbidden from working in court. So I've been wondering how much longer I'm going to be banned. Oh, well, that would explain why you seem rather glum. Must we read Hurley? Oh, there he goes again. Did you say something, Iris? Back to moping. What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes today? He seems even more down in the dumps than me. I know, and the great exhibition is open. You'd think he'd be excited. Oh, why don't we all go and see it together? I want to, of course I do, but I can't. Not for the time being. Why not? Why not? Why not? Because I'm a great detective after all. So you're embroiled in some tricky case that you can't be distracted from? Is that it? I don't remember hearing that you were working on a case, Hurley. I suppose I should try to find out what's going on. Oh, first things first. Check the board. Ah yes, this is where you note down ideas, isn't it, Iris? What's in the melting pot today? The blue carbuncle? Yes, it's from a case of theft that Hurley solved ages ago. The theft of the precious stone. A carbuncle is another name for a garnet, you see, especially if it's cut with a rounded top. Oh really? And this garnet was blue, was it? Well, that's the thing. They're usually red. No blue garnets have ever been discovered. Oh. But who knows what the stolen gemstone actually was? That's the real mystery of the case. A proper Sherlock Holmes conundrum, huh? Half a year ago now, I took on the defense of a young girl in a trial held at the Old Bailey. What at first seemed like a simple case of murder that took place at a London pawnbrokery turned out to be one part of a much more far-reaching plot that involved the British government. During the course of the trial, it was found that I made an unavoidable yet the same time unforgivable mistake. For its family, the situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Naruto. Yes, my lord. I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial. Of course, my lord. In the end, I had my right to represent people in court revoked. I was told I had to spend my time in research and study, so that's what I've been doing. You have, haven't you, Reno? Reading all those big, fat tomes about British law up in your room and the notes about Sholmes' old cases? Brewing Iris's special blends of tea, fetching my daily bread for me. You become something of a manservant around here. Start up the silverware. So the silverware next up, Mr. Naruto. Well, I'm thinking of going to ask the powers that be to reconsider. Specifically Lord Strongheart at the British Supreme Court on Whitehall. Lord Strongheart? The delightful Lord Chief Justice. Not my favorite fellow. He's not mine either, but he's the man I have to talk to. He's the only one who could grant permission for me to start working in the courts again. I came to Britain to become the best lawyer I could. And I can't do that just sitting around here. The whole of London has been swept up in this great exhibition, hasn't it? The most advanced science, the most modern technology, the finest works of art and feats of engineering. For the next 6 months, our capital will be showcasing these things, and the world will be watching. Oh, do you know what I like to do? I like to look down on London from one of those lovely balloons. Look down on? Do you mean you mean those things? Fly? Yes, of course. They fly high in the sky and they don't need wings to do it. All you need is hot air. But how? How does hot air have anything to do with flying? It makes no sense. I can't understand it at all. That's true. A lot of new scientific discoveries. Most people can't understand them at first. I mean, that's why they're new discoveries. But in 100 years' time, all these things will be common knowledge. I suppose they might be. Mind you, some of the science being demonstrated seems very questionable. Something went wrong on the opening experimentation stage yesterday, apparently. There was a huge explosion. Oh, I bet. Still, I wish I'd seen it, though. I'd love to see how bad some of these scam experiments really are. Says the innocent 10-year-old girl. See here, every page of this paper carries some article or other about the great exhibition. But the brighter things shine, the darker the shadows that are cast behind them. Personally, I find myself drawn to the darkness, to the impenetrable. That is my proper atmosphere. Uh-huh. Shadows cast behind. Is that a metaphorical way of referring to the back page of the paper? So about your gloomy mood, are you investigating a particularly tricky case at the moment, Mr. Sholmes? You could say that, I suppose. Nothing more to add? That's not like you. What sort of case is it? Quiet, Mr. Donahue. We must not discuss it here. You never know who might be listening. You're acting very strangely, Hurley. What do you mean, Iris? Well, usually, the more mysterious and complicated the case is, the better Hurley's mood. Ah. Is it really a case that's bothering you? Iris, please, you mustn't exercise your astute powers of observation and deduction on me without invitation. Remember what I always say. Put yourself in the shoes of the individual about whom you're making deductions. You say that, do you? You, Mr. Sholmes? Never mind. Once I had a cup of tea, I must make my way at once to the crime scene. That was a deep sigh. He is not oh man, it's like a regular Tuesday for me. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, about this. Not another word. Yes, I see. This would be a collar for a breed of miniature canine with a particularly long neck. And for winter use. Actually, it's the armband I always wear, that symbolizes my role as a defense lawyer. Precisely, which leads us to one conclusion. Your arm is, in fact, the particularly long neck of a miniature canine! I'm starting to wish I'd never shown him this now. The man's barking mad. About this, my dear fellow, without wishing to sound rude, I'm currently in the middle of a very important blink. Perhaps some other more convenient time, Is there a set time for your important blinks? Or are they an all-day affair, just so I know? Oh my gosh. Every time I look at that machine, I can't help thinking what a monstrosity it is. What's it called again? The Great Analytoscope. You can blah. It does seem incredible and at the same time incredibly useless. But it looks impressive, doesn't it? So that makes it very useful. How does that make it useful? Because it means you can pawn it for lots of money. The pawnbrokers always make idle remarks like, "What an incredible looking machine." So Hurley often takes it to the pawn shop when he's a little short. It sounds like this thing pulls its weight around here more than I realized by having its weight pulled around. I can't even imagine transporting that thing. Like, how are you supposed to move that? Well, I can't move. Ah yes, the huge metal chest with the lace cloth plate on it, being used at the table for tea and coffee. It's very sturdy, that's for sure, and firmly locked shut. That chest contains my father's detailed records of Hurley's many cases. Yes, so I've been led to believe, though personally I've never actually seen inside. And that's the way it will stay. Those papers are a secret between Daddy and me. If you go opening it uninvited, you might find yourself being bitten. What? Is there a beast inside there or something? Books, papers, scientific implements. These shelves are stuffed to the gunnels. Mrs. Sato wouldn't be able to help herself if she were here. She can't stand mess. Actually, yeah, but she wouldn't dare touch those shelves. Oh, we've seen this before. I guess maybe we can look in here? I can type with my eyes shut, you know. I can believe it. When the deadline's approaching, you sound like a Gatling gun. We always don't have this. It reminds me of a dream I had the other day. It was such a funny one. It woke me, actually. I was typing for a whole hour in the pitch black, but I didn't make a single mistake. That's incredible. But then, when it got light, I found there wasn't any paper in the machine. Now I wonder if I'd actually been typing at all. I think you also might have just fallen asleep on the job. I look forward to finding out what aroma tea your tea will have, Iris, every single day. Oh, well, I infuse a different concoction from herbs from around the garden every time, so it never the same twice. Like a science experiment for tea time. Oh yes, that's because different blends can have very different properties. Some calm you down, some make you feel jolly, some give you energy. Today's particular blend is something quite special, so you're really in for a treat. That sounds ominous. Oh yes, Mrs. Soames' favorite musical companion. Wasn't this violin made by someone famous? Yes, it's a Stradivarius. For 100 years before you can afford one, Bruno. If I were to save up for 100 years, I wouldn't choose to buy a violin, personally. Oh, what would you buy then? I really have no idea. I think I'll have to do it so I can find out. Same, really. I do love a good fire in the colder months. Watching the flames flickering and dancing is just so really relaxing. Cleaning out the chimney isn't so relaxing, though. No, getting covered in soot isn't my idea of fun. You know, Hurley decided he was gonna go clean it out himself last year. But you can guess what happened, can't you? He got himself stuck inside the flue. He's a very slim man, I admit, but there are limits to where a fully grown man can fit. Now every time he dozes off by the fire, he has nightmares about it. Oh no. Ah, all these different pieces of evidence for cases that Mr. Sholmes has solved. Very interesting. The trouble is, Hurley forgets things so quickly. He never remembers why these things are relevant. The other day, for example, he saw the orange pips that were there and decided to plant them in the garden. Pips? Yes, they've all sprouted now. We have five new little plants. Oh, well, I don't know what case they were from, but if Mr. Sholmes can get oranges to grow outside in England, he should change his profession. Oh, man. Anything up here now? Anything new? So many different bottles on that charming little set of white shelves. Oh, do be careful, Bruno. You mustn't try the contents of any of those bottles, even if you're hungry. I wouldn't do something stupid like that. I'm not a child, you know. Well, I wish I could say the same for Hurley. The other day, he polished off a full bottle of one of my alkaloids. What? He said he was hungry. I'll be extra careful. Okay, I've examined everything. I think I've examined everything in here, but I still can't quite do anything. Okay, okay. Is there anything I haven't looked at yet? Teapot fire, I can't leave here. I'm in trouble. I can't figure out how to get out of here, or how to progress the story. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. Oh, wait. I am an idiot. The Reaper attacked! So many glowing reports about the Great Exhibition and something that's going on there. Other than this rather gloomy looking one, that is. Wait, what? What's the matter, Runo? The Reaper attacked? That's Lord Van Zykes! Especially what Sholmes is talking about. Does he know any more, I wonder? Yeah, there's a lost cat. There's also a missing cat. Every article on the front page is news about the Great Exhibition. Public experiments to demonstrate brand new scientific ideas, cultural exhibits from around the globe. It's also positive and hopeful for about the coming century. We must all go to see it properly before too long. Anyway, so, about the Reaper. It says in the paper that Lord Van Zykes was attacked. That's terrible. You know the legend of the Reaper, the Bailey of the Court, don't you? Only too well, in fact. Yes, Prosecutor Beric Van Zykes. They say that if the Reaper is the prosecutor in a case, there is no salvation for whoever is in the dock. Even if the defendant is found not guilty, once the Reaper has someone in his sights, one way or another, that person's time left on Earth will be short. Oh boy. London's finest rogues always find its way around the law. They'll stop at nothing to secure an acquittal at trial, falsifying evidence, paying sham witnesses, threatening jurors, bribing judges. Even such thieves' tactics as these cannot save them from the hand of the Reaper. As you've experienced yourself, haven't you, Mr. Nahodo? Yes, I've seen the Reaper's retribution at work. Many of these criminal rogues are reckless and quite unafraid to die. If a leader among their fraternity is seen to have been taken by the Reaper, retaliation like this does occur. Really, the capital has a never-ending supply of such scoundrels. So, do you mean Lord Van Zykes has been attacked like this before? This isn't the first time? He's quite an accomplished combatant, you know. He doesn't take these attacks lying down. Although, it seems that his assailants were armed with guns this time. Guns? My goodness, is he alright then? Is Lord Van Zykes hurt? My dear fellow, how on earth would I know? Well, in the article here it says, as to what of Lord Van Zyke's and his condition, all will be revealed in tomorrow's morning edition. I see. Well, we shall have to be patient then. No, I can't wait until tomorrow! In that case, you shall have to inquire with somebody in the know. But who? Lord Strongheart, perhaps? Okay. Well, I must be leaving now. Yes, understood. See you later, Mr. Holmes. Huh. You really are a shameless liar sometimes, my dear fellow. What? You seek to put me off my guard and follow me, don't you? Well, you would be wasting your time. The thought had to cross my mind, but now I'm wondering where you're going. Well then, see you later indeed. Well, there he goes. Listen to him. He's laughing on his way out the door. But alright then, Bruno, let's get going. Iris, what are you wearing? It's kind of adorable, actually. I've got change to go to the Great Exhibition. You're going to take me. What? But I was just about to go to the Supreme Court. Oh, well that sounds fun too. You're going to take me there then. Alright, fine. Just lower that weapon, would you? Of course. And after the Supreme Court, then we'll go to see the Great Exhibition. Alright. Oh, man. I have to look at the spade. The office spade. Now that Mrs. Sada's gone, the shovelers aren't represented to correct me. Maybe I'll have to do it myself. That's not a spade, if you never heard of it. It's a shovel! So you're a spader, are you, Reno? What? You want to battle it out? Alright, I'm not going to argue with a native English speaker who has some kind of gun. Jenny fooling around at the top of the stove as usual. It was kind of misdecided to send that Japanese tea. You really like it, don't you, Iris? But for me, it's the sound of the stove and burbling kettle that I like the most on biting winter mornings. And it feels even cozier in here when the delightful Iris pours the tea for me. I really couldn't manage without that wonderful young girl. Oh, Bruno, it's so sweet of you to say so. Stop putting words in my mouth, please, Iris. Mrs. Sato's tea set that she left here with me. I still think green tea is just too bitter, though. Thank goodness for sugar and milk. Mr. Sholmes certainly wasn't expecting the acrid taste that one time. I've never heard anyone let out a stream like that before, or seen one fall down the stairs quite like that either. It always brings a smile to my lips when I'm feeling a little down. Ah, well, do you know what that reminds me of? The day I gave you some black coffee when you weren't expecting it. You fell all the way down the stairs as well, didn't you, Bruno? Yes, you did. Do you think we could try to forget that, please, Iris? That doesn't bring a smile to my lips at all. Now, at first glance, my desk might look as though it's in a mess. However, it's not in a mess at all. Everything exactly where I want it to be. But whenever Miss Susato looked at it, she'd put her hands on her hips and say, "Oh dear." Her way of saying that should make it a more orderly and neat mess. I miss that. You sound just like Hurley, you know. He says the same thing about his mess. It's the kind of logic that transcends international borders, obviously. Here's my Dharma. The Dharma doll I brought with me from Japan. I always intended to color in the other eye once I become a fully fledged lawyer, but it's still winking at me like it's trying to say, I can wait, take as long as you need. Or maybe not. I'll just have to keep on doing it the best I can, I suppose. I could color it in for you, Reno. Just that one eye, is it? No, it needs to be done with a bit of ceremony, Iris. It's not just a toy for coloring it in, you know. I never did see what Mrs. Sato's room looks like. I could go in now, of course, but I don't dare. They say a young maiden's private chamber is a place of bittersweet secrets. Although from the laughter I used to hear when I would visit, I imagine it's mainly sweet. Oh, we used to have such fun in Susie's room. She told me all sorts of interesting things about your country, you know? Aw. Look at the prawns and the anemones gently swaying around in the tank. Regular cleaning, some food, and fresh seawater is all they need, and the conversation, of course. It seems like a lot of effort at first, but it was worth it. I'm sorry to be able to tell what they're thinking. Why did you think that so many people in London had aquariums like this once, when they were in vogue? You'd never expect to find sea anemones in the middle of the capital. I think I'll have to name them soon. Oh no, Runos disappeared. What? Huh, I expect he's being eaten by Hurley. I think I prefer if you used your imagination more when naming the sea life. It's Mrs. Sato's desk. I suppose it won't get used now that she's gone back to Japan. They'll just have to wait here patiently for its old friend to return. Even now, I sometimes find myself pouring a cup of tea for Susie by mistake. That explains why I sometimes find a steaming cup on her desk here. It shocks me every time. But it's just one of your pranks, I see. It's no prank, I miss her! I'm so excited about the prospect of Naruhodo's Anything Consultancy opening for business again. That's not what it's called, and it's Naruhodo's legal consultancy. I've done a lot of studying in these past 6 months, reading law texts and judicial precedents. I'm sure I'm a better lawyer now. I can't wait to start practicing again. Nothing's changed in here at all, though, has it? It's as though time has stood still in here since Susie went back to Japan. I wanted to keep it ready for Mrs. Sato in case she was able to return to Britain at any point, so I've just left everything the way it was. Oh, I see. Right. And there was me thinking it's because of the way you are, Runo. You know, never bothering to tidy up, I mean. Iris, this isn't the time or the place to bring up my tidiness. Or lack of it. Okay, let's actually go to the Supreme Court. Alright, this is gonna be exciting. Let's see if we can beg and plead our way to get... Why are there birds in here? It's been about 6 months now since I was last here, but some things never change, like the sense of foreboding I always seem to feel in this place. What? It doesn't seem to be bothering Iris, though, at all. She's happily reading over there. That's adorable. Oh, I love this place. I always find so many interesting books here. Of course, I was forgetting that you've been here before. The time I came here 6 months ago. When Susato-san was given the news that she was to return to Japan. Ah, I understand you wish to speak with me. Oh, yeah. Oh, Lord Strongheart, I trust you've been keeping well? Let's see, since you arrived and requested an audience, it's been 4 hours, 32 minutes, and 26 seconds. I've kept you waiting for a while, my apologies. Oh, no, not at all. I like nothing more than staying around staring into space. Wait, we've been here for 4 hours now? Good to know. Good to know that doesn't appear to bother him at all. Male Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of London. He's the man who allowed me to start practicing as a defense lawyer when I arrived in Britain as a student. You need only savor the air for a moment in this grand office to understand his preeminent status. As you will be aware, the Great Exhibition of London is now underway at last. We are extremely busy as a result, policing the grounds, guarding the new technologies, dealing with petty crime, and furthermore, as of next month, we shall open the International Forensic Science Synopsium. Oh, I've not heard about that. Investigating authorities from 40 countries around the globe will be taking part, including from your own land. Forensic science is the future. The world must embrace it. As we're the hosting nation, I have much to do, and it is my highest priority. If others must wait for my attention as a result, so be it. Well, it's nice to know where I stand. So, you wish to consult with me? Of course, I can very well imagine what this is about. Thank you for agreeing to meet this meeting, my lord. I'd rather be allowed to start working as a defense lawyer in court. That's what brought me here today, but actually, there's something else flying on my mind, as it happens. Bruno, just take a deep breath and come out with it. Okay. I actually came here today to ask for your permission. Go on. 6 months ago, my right to work in court as a lawyer was revoked and I was told to spend my time studying. Obviously, I'm very sorry for what happened, but the thing is, it made me understand what it really means to defend somebody under the rules of a foreign justice system, and I desperately want to have another go. Please, permit me to enter the courtroom again. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Here it comes. I'm sure you haven't forgotten your position here, have you? At best, you are a substitute for your compatriot. This was never your intended role. Well, that's true. The Japanese government actually sent my best friend on this study tour, not me. It should have been Kazuma. He was so determined to bring a change to our own justice system at home. That was his calling. And if that tragic accident hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here in this office now. Mr. Atsugi was my friend, you see. That's why I can't leave it unfinished. I have to fulfill his calling for him. His calling, you say? Has it never occurred to you that perhaps you know nothing of his true calling? Sorry? The mission with which that young law student was charged, what do you suppose it really was? What do you mean? Mission? He's not making any sense. What is he talking about? Never mind. I've read all the reports you've submitted over the past 6 months. It's clear to me that you regret your actions and have been studiously, obeying your revised instructions. Do you mean... As of this moment, I reinstate your license to practice law here in Great Britain. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's wonderful news, Reno. In fact, I believe I have the perfect case to mark your comeback, a curious affair. You'll consider it, I hope. Of course! Please, tell me more! You described it as a curious affair. Yes, that's right. I believe it was reported in the press. Are you aware that there was a serious accident at the Great Exhibition yesterday? Oh, no. Yes, I read all about it. A professor from Germany tried to carry out a crazy experiment. But let me see. How is it described? Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, I think? Instantaneous kinesis? As in moving things with a click of the fingers? That's right. It's just what my herbal blends need. A dash of devil-may-care. Whatever this serious accident was exactly, it clearly captured Iris's imagination. It's an unfortunate business. A large explosion engulfed the public experimentation stage and a man lost his life. A certain Mr. Odi Asman? An inventor and a well-known figure in society. A large explosion? A man died? The man responsible for the experiment was Professor Albert Hairbrain. Hairbrain. He was detained immediately after the incident and is due to appear in court tomorrow. Oh, great. On the charge of murder. What? Murder? If you intend to take on his defense, you should hurry and meet with him at the prison. There's very little time left for you to carry out any kind of investigation. The Great Exhibition, a scientific experiment gone wrong, and murder. I feel out of my depths before I've even started. Still, we should go to the prison straight away then, and try to meet with this German professor. Don't you think? Definitely. Yes. One more thing about the case. There's a connection with our mutual acquaintance, the Reaper. Oh, with Lord Van Zykes. How? All sorts of conferences have been taking place around the world to coincide with the Great Exhibition. And next month, the largest and most important of them will take place at last. The International Forensic Science Synopsium. It does seem as though criminal investigation needs to embrace scientific methods, doesn't it? Exactly. London, the global epicenter of culture, science, and wealth, now has a population exceeding 6 million. Sadly, crime in the capital is growing at a similarly startling rate. So it's imperative that we use the latest scientific methods to investigate and resolve cases as efficiently as possible. Which is what's known as forensic science, isn't it? Exactly, the future of policing! Regrettably, however, Britain is currently dragging its feet when it comes to the adoption of forensic methods. Oh dear, that's alarming. Exactly! It's extremely alarming! If I were Her Majesty's Major Attorney General, you could be sure that the numbers of crimes committed and resolved in London would be very different to the current figures. I could cite 12 solo arguments and 223 individual reasons to support my claim. Sorry? By way of apology for keeping you waiting earlier, I shall detail everyone now. What? Oh, how fascinating. It all began 15 years ago. I was... Oh no! Oh no! And that is why my mother was allergic to mayonnaise. And the more or less says my feelings on the matter. In the simplest terms, of course. Essentially, to formally establish a forensic investigation division within Scotland Yard. That is my mission. Oh, right, yes. That's wonderful. Exactly. Wonderful is precisely what it would be. She was just... Iris isn't paying attention at all. She's got her nose in another book now. Oh, is it over? Did you learn anything useful? I actually drifted off for the most part. He's surprisingly ardent about forensic science. Oh, man. By the way, Lord Strongheart, about this. The symbol of a defense lawyer in the Japanese judiciary. Oh, I didn't expect you to know that. We never accept foreign students before first researching the legal systems of their home countries. But such trinkets are merely for show. The only true measure of your worth is your performance in court. Yes, right. Oh, that reminds me. Have you seen this? The reports of the overwhelming success of the Great Exhibition, of course. No, not that. The story on the back page. What story? The Reaper attacked. Ah, that. You've enjoyed some victories in court against my #1 prosecutor, have you not? Poor Mr. Reaper. What happened to him? He wasn't killed, was he? There's no need for concern. Lord Van Zyges would not be so easily dispatched. I assure you. Can you tell what's happening? I'd really like to know. Very well. If it interests you. It does, strangely. Fortunately, Lord Van Zyges emerged from the attack unscathed. Street ruffians are no match for the man. He's a very capable fighter. Well, that's incredible. They were armed with guns! What was the attack, though? Do we know? It's related to events that occurred a month ago. A leader of one of the capital's criminal organizations was indicted and prosecuted by Van Zyges. But the man was acquitted. I have no doubt large sums of money were involved behind the scenes. Large sums of money. A deplorable situation. Members of the jury were bribed, it seems. However, despite winning his freedom, the man in question met a dramatic end yesterday. Well, you're not suggesting that the worker that was the Reaper, surely. The victim's henchmen certainly seemed to think so. He was a man by the name of Asman. Mr. Odie Asman. What? Did you say Asman? That's the man who died in the big explosion of the Great Exhibition. Yes, known publicly as an investor, but in reality, the head of a significant criminal organization. Unbelievable. I wonder, could I ask you something, Lord Strongheart? Try me. Why do you use Lord Van Zyges as a prosecutor? All the criminals who manage to get off in court then meet with mysterious ends outside the courtroom, and fearful that fate may seek to strike at Lord Van Zyges first. I know there's no evidence that he actually is the Reaper in that sense, but still, something clearly going on here. I have Van Zyk's work for the prosecution service for 2 reasons. Firstly, the man is the best prosecutor in the capital, bar none. And secondly, any deaths of criminals that have occurred outside the courtroom following his trials are nothing to do with him. But that doesn't make sense. How can you explain the ways so many have died if not by someone's hand? But Van Zykes may have earned himself the moniker of the Reaper, but he is no killer, so he will continue to prosecute on behalf of the Crown. Unless he wishes otherwise, of course. Well, I must be leaving for my next engagement. I'm already 11 hours and 16 minutes late. My colleagues may be starting to fidget. 11 hours late? That's quite something! That meeting had already started when I arrived back here for this engagement with you. So lateness was inevitable. Time stops for no man. I'm sure it stopped for me during those 12 solid arguments and 223 reasons. Oh yes, where would I find Lord Van Zykes now? I would assume he's at his office. Right, I'll go ask him about the attack in person. I want to get this straight from the horse's mouth. Away with you now. I'm leaving Professor Harebrain's defense entirely in your hands. Of course, yes. Thank you very much, my lord. Okay, well. Well, let's meet with our client. The warden said cell 11. That's this one. Oh, there is someone curled up in a ball back in the corner. Look, what's his name again? Professor Albert Harebrain, wasn't it? Excuse me, Professor Harebrain? Who are you? I'm a lawyer! Was it something I said? A lawyer, you'll say. Would you be here all about the experiment? Are you going to defend my hypothesis? Your hypothesis? Sorry, I don't. Yesterday's demonstration! The magnificent demonstration was, but it was an out and out success by anyone's calculations. But despite that, no lawyer believes in the science when it's explained. They all leave at high velocity. Sorry, Monk. Now's probably not a good time to mention that your zeal made me cut my concentration leave for a while, too. You mentioned the demonstration yesterday. The papers have called it a spectacular failure, yet, after all, a man died in the explosion, didn't he? Yes, you interpret the results as that way if you really wanted to. Well, I suppose in a strictest sense, the experiment was a failure, but at the same time, it was a great success. You've lost me. I saw it with my own eye, right there in front of me. Mr. Aspen was spontaneously disassembled. Until then, everything was going as my calculations predicted. At that point, he should have been beamed to the Crystal Tower by instantaneous kinesis. However, the machine exploded and Mr. Aspen in fact perished. Yes, I can't deny that part of the experiment was a failure. So you're really saying is the large explosion that killed Mr. Aspen was an accident, correct? The big was had you arrested on suspicion of murder. I was responsible for a man's death. That is the immutable truth here. As for that, I wish to be punished at once. But a murder? Never in a million years. It was an accident, simply an accident. I see. Harvey and I were talking this morning, you know. He said the situation would change completely depending on whether it was treated as an accident or murder. How exactly? Well, if it really was an accident, then the professor's machine would be kept in protective custody. On what grounds? Yes. It's newly established here in Britain. The special dispenser Suspension for Scientific Equipment Act. That one passed me by. But if the case is treated as murder, then they'll say that my machine was the murder weapon, and they'll be able to pour over it as much as they like. If they examine it in detail, they'll find out how it's made, and then they'll be like, "My idea! My precious hypothesis will be stolen! The machine must be protected from that at all costs. That's why it's imperative this whole incident is shown to be have been an accident in tomorrow's trial." I see now. Sorry, Monk. Sorry for my terrible German accent. So in short, there was a terrible accident at the Great Exhibition Showground yesterday. Yes! Or rather, no. The devil is in the details, strictly speaking. There was a terrible explosion. It sounds the same to me. You were demonstrating super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, weren't you? How fascinating. Humans, like all matters, are made up of particles that are held together by electrical bonds. So it must be possible using a sufficiently high voltage to bring those balls and beam the particles through space. That's it in a nutshell. That's my idea. You see, that's my amazing hypothesis. Gosh, that's unimaginably high-level science. But dare to imagine it, dare to dream of such incredible technology. Just think, one moment I could be here in this cell, and the next I could be at the Great Exhibition again. Well, yes, that would be incredible. And the next, in a mere blink of an eye, could be at the Great Parisian Theater, say. The possibilities are endless. The whole world, the whole of our vast planet will be within reach. So no more hiding in wardrobes on rocky seas for 50 days? I don't really see it like that. What do you mean, Iris? Well, if you could travel anywhere in the world instantly, the planet wouldn't really seem vast anymore, would it? I think it would feel like it had shrunk. My word, that's it! That's exactly right! What are the implications? What does this mean? That's got Professor Bunny Brain. We're really worried by the look of it. Clearly this is yet another case of just because you can doesn't mean you should, I suppose. The point is, my calculations are flawless. The science works, but without a practical demonstration, it means nothing. And that's always a flaw in the ointment. Because practical demonstrations cost a lot of money that young scientists like you don't have. That's exactly it, yes. Curly's always complaining about it. He says government should invest more in science. Well, anyway, I bumped into him at the right time. I met the well-known investor, Mr. Asman, the victim who died in yesterday's terrible accident, you mean? Huh. The full name of the man who died in yesterday's accident was Mr. Odie Asman. Like, Odie Asman? Like, wasn't it? What exactly was your relationship with the man? He first visited me at my laboratory in Germany a year ago now. He said he wanted to invest in my immaculate hypothesis. I thanked my lucky stars. I see, so you hadn't really known each other until then. Money for scientific research. I'm so envious. As far as I was concerned, the man was an angel. Oh, really? An archangel even. He was prepared to fund a practical demonstration of my hypothesis for presentation at the Great Exhibition. And if that went well, I could expect additional financial support for my research from the British government. Mr. Asman provided me with money and an exceptional engineer. He produced a machine to my precise specifications. But then your dreams were blown into dust in one enormous explosion. As you can see, I owed everything to Mr. Asman. I would never, ever have thought of taking the man's life. Well, he seems genuine enough. I don't think he's lying. So, oh boy. So we're gonna have to prove that this was an accident and not a murder. Interesting. Ah, fascinating. Yes. In Japan, where I come from, it's a symbol of a defense lawyer. Wearing it is very bracing, I find. Your words make some sense to me, but they are entirely illogical. What do you mean? Well, for example, I find this white laboratory coat that I wear for my work very bracing too. However, in my case, there's a perfectly logical reason for that feeling. Oh, really? What is it? I purchased the wrong size by mistake. This one is too small for me. The sleeves, especially, are extremely bracing. I can barely move my wrists. That's what you call logical, is it? Of course, it's entirely logical. That's science, Mr. Naruto. How could this have happened? You must feel awful, as well as the man losing his life, but Crystal Tower was greatly damaged too. I know what happened. It must have been that. That? The day before the demonstration, I had my usual meal of frankfurters at the hotel restaurant. Then I paid the bill. They gave me 3 shillings too much and change. But instead of saying anything, I just slipped the coins into my pocket. They're still there now. It's divine retribution for my wrongdoing. Let us eat. For a scientist, he has some very illogical anecdotes. Long and illogical. Once again, sorry, Mark. But anyway, why don't we get going? Let's go see the prosecutor. Ooh, so this is Legendary Reaper's office. Yes, it appears so. Sends a chill down your spine, doesn't it? What immediately deathly atmosphere. Oh, is that? Huh? That hooded figure was so still, I hadn't noticed her presence. I wonder who it is. What are you doing here? Hey, he's as unwelcoming as I thought he'd be. Actually, maybe even more so. Glad to see you're well. I am. So, is the person over the wall being punished or something or other? No punishment is taking place here. Oh! That's my apprentice. He's sitting there of his own free will. I didn't know he had an apprentice. Wait, what the heck? It must be the same person who was pictured in the newspaper. Huh. A masked person? He's very able in combat. A requisite skill for anybody under my tutelage. Are you referring to the attack on the Reaper that was reported in the papers? The Reaper? I'd be interested to know what the Reaper's true identity myself. Assuming, that is, such a fabled fiend generally inhabits our great courtrooms. Oh boy. He has a lot of chalices. Look at the fine collection of hallowed chalices and bottles neatly lined up in there. My hallowed bottles are filled with the essence of the finest grapes from the finest vineyards I visit. And I personally oversee these chalices being made by the finest crystal craftsmen in the world. And yet you throw them around in court like they were worthless. Yes, because this imbecile is so unimaginably and repeatedly wide of the mark sometimes. Oh. Before you open your mouth next time, you should consider the poor artisans whose work you defile. So it's my fault? Silly me, how could I ever thought otherwise? Yeah. So it's for your work, huh? So Lord Van Dyke's desk, look, it's so stylish. And not the marble chess set behind it. Chess. That's the Western version of our Japanese shogi game, isn't it? You know, I'm actually quite good at shogi problems. Oh, really? You probably like chess problems in that case. I'd love to challenge Lord Van Dyke sometime to a bout of shogi problems. If you only want, to challenge yourself, you can always do that on your own at home. Oh, look, it's a scale model of the Great Exhibition Showcase. That's amazing. I wonder why it's here. Perhaps he made it here to take his mind off the sadness of being too busy to attend in person, or perhaps he's too embarrassed to queue up for a ticket. Surely it's obvious that I'm using it as investigation aid. You Vietnamese have no business painting others as overly reserved. I really didn't think you'd overhear that. That portrait really dominates the room, doesn't it? Is that him in his younger years? It's a very majestic outfit and pose, but sadly, whoever painted it didn't do a very good job at capturing Lord Van Dyke's facial features. It's him younger, isn't it? Yes, you're right. I mean, it's not far off, but the artist has exaggerated his subject's handsomeness, I think. That reminds me. I heard Emperor Napoleon of France ordered artists to make him look more attractive when they painted him. How vain. That's really not an attractive quality in a person, is it? That portrait does not depict me. Surely that's immediately obvious. Oh, then who is it? Look at all those ancient casks lining the wall there. Casks of the Reaper's chamber. Or are they caskets? You don't think all of those people who escaped conviction in court are lying inside them dead, do you? What ridiculous notions are going through your head, man? This is my collection of fine vintages. Oh, yes, of course. Thank you for clearing that up. Bruno and I were just musing to ourselves. Don't mind us, Mr. Reaper. I wouldn't if you hadn't invited yourself into my office to talk nonsense within my earshot. So, who is this guy? It really looks like a punishment to me. I've never seen someone sitting like that before. He hasn't moved a muscle since we arrived. Do you think perhaps he's dead? If he was dead, Runa, he wouldn't be sitting up, would he? Well, anyway, dead or alive, he's not overly approachable, is he? I don't think he's going to talk to us. He's not dead. Oh boy. Nah. Like, let's totally Kazuma, right? As if. Last night's attack. Lord Strongheart said that the assault last night was some sort of revenge attack. True. Carried out by the henchmen of Odi Asman criminal organization. The investigation meant their arrests were imminent. Presumably some hoped to kill me before that happened. Odi Asman. He's always masqueraded as one of London's most powerful financiers, a global investor, but his enormous wealth came to him by underhand means, via his criminal activities. And he used that money to buy himself a verdict of not guilty when he found himself in court, didn't he? Being prosecuted by you, Mr. Reaper. But the man got his comeuppance in the end. Yesterday, in fact, in extraordinary circumstances, it was the most unusual case of death. I know about that. It was a super high voltage instantaneous kinesis gone wrong. Mr. Asman died when the demonstration of the public experimentation stage ended in an enormous explosion. Correct. And you think I have some kind of divine ability to cause an accident like that to happen, do you? Well, no, that does seem a little far-fetched. If this man really is a fabled Reaper, then he has to be innocent of this particular death, at least. It's strange how this has worked out, isn't it, Runo? I mean, what with you taking on the Professor's defense for the trial tomorrow? What? You're going to be defending him? Oh, yes, that's right. I thought I barely knew them. Though I barely know the man's name yet, to be honest. Albert Hairbrain. That's right. Do you know him by any chance? Of course. He's a contemporary of mine. We were at university together. You're... what? What? I understood that Professor Hairbrain was from Germany, though. Hairbrain's from a respectable British family. After graduating from the University of London, he moved to Germany to carry out research, that's all. So you were students together. I was in the faculty of law, of course, and he in science, so our paths rarely crossed. But curiously, we got along, though I've not met him since my university days. I certainly didn't expect our next encounter to take this form. And with you, of all people, representing him. Only if I make it out of this office alive! He's actually being charged with murder, it seems. Yes, I know. Because the prosecution will be handled by me. By you? But you made it sound as though if you and the professor had been friends. We are friends, it's true. Then why would you do this? If a Reaper is a prosecutor, then there's nothing anyone could do to save him. He's doomed! What's Slippers like thinking? What do you mean by whatever you said? What you said? If you'd like to know the Reaper's true identity, does that mean I'm a crown prosecutor and a mortal like any other? I'm no demigod. But they've all died, haven't they? The people you prosecuted, I mean. Whether or not the trial ended in a conviction or an acquittal, those I prosecute are the vilest of wretches of our society. People who without question deserve to be found guilty. The world is a better place without them. But that's not true of Mr. Bouncebabe, for example. He wasn't a vile wretch at all. Nor was Ginny. In fact, she's ever so hardworking now. You just wanted... I can't deny that since I encountered you, things have taken a turn. But the point is this. If any of those vile wretches in that escaped justice subsequently died in mysterious circumstances, it was at the hand of their own kind. It's not my work. Lord Strongheart said the same. He believes you're not involved in any way. But you were attacked by the ruffians because they believe it's true. The fact is, since people started to call me the Reaper of the Bailey, the number of serious crimes in the capital has dropped substantially. Oh! It would appear that even the most hardened criminals can be made fearful for their lives. Do you mean to say... I mean to say that if my pseudonym serves a useful purpose, I adopt it gladly and with honor. But it's putting you in danger. You could be killed. If that's my fate, let God decide. Oh, but Zykes. Oh boy. I really hope he doesn't just get. I really hope he doesn't get killed during a case, or during a trial. I know you've seen this around my arm before, but what is it exactly? It's the mark of a defense lawyer, in Japan at least. And what's your reason for showing it to a British prosecutor? Oh, well, I don't know really. I can understand, at least. There's merit in reminding yourself of who helped you become what you are today. Oh. But that's a personal matter. Something you may want to keep close at all times. Not something to flaunt. No, I suppose not. Thank you for understanding, though. Nice. Lord Van Zykes, about the article in this paper. Yes, it seems there was a reporter nearby when the little skirmish took place. I had no idea I'd been photographed. It was careless of me. It looks as though it was taken after the people who attacked you had run away, though. Rest assured, the police have already apprehended every last one of them. But there's someone else fighting alongside you, it seems. That person? And I think it's the same man who's sitting over there as we speak, isn't it? It could be a woman. As I mentioned already, he's my apprentice. Okay, never mind. He's my apprentice. Perhaps you could tell us a little more about him? He's in my tutelage to become a prosecutor. So you could say he's my apprentice, I suppose. Ah, like you are to Hurley then, Bruno. I don't remember taking an apprenticeship with a great detective. He's currently compiling a report about last night's attack. It looks like he's wearing some kind of mask. On Lord Strongheart's orders, nobody knows the man's face, or indeed his identity. But why would you agree to take such a clearly suspicious individual? Lord Strongheart's orders again. He's not one for meaningless follies. There will be good reason for his actions. I hope you're right. Oh. Ooh. The task is complete. Good. In that case, you can collate all the briefs. Oh boy. Huh? Nice to meet you. Back to work again. That was really strange, though. I've never met the man before. I didn't even know he existed, and yet somehow it didn't feel like our first encounter. Don't bother trying to converse with him. He says nothing to anybody from outside this office. Well, Strongheart has strictly forbidden it. Oh, I see. Why are you so interested in my apprentice anyway? Hmm? Oh, no, sorry, I didn't mean to. The way he stood there so casually, with that flawless posture. It couldn't be. Does he think it's Cosmo too? It's like, it's impossible. We saw his body! Yes, there's something I've been meaning to ask you. Oh, what's that? That Nepalese man, is he faring well? Sorry, the one arrested twice in succession 6 months ago. With the stoop, and the mustache, and the jitters. Ah, Mr. Natsume, you mean? I'm not sure he'd been very pleased to find out you identified him from that list for now. He's fine, thank you. In fact, I received a letter from him by international post the other day. I see. Well, I think we can end our discussion there, don't you? There's a little time before tomorrow's trial. I advise you to spend it investigating the case. Yes, thank you for the advice. And for the conversation. I can't believe he's asking after Saseki-san. After a Nepalese. I'm not sure whether he'll feel happy or about that or worried. Huh. Like, I never imagined that Mr. Reaper would be friends with a mad scientist, did you? That's a turn up for the books. A mad scientist? I mean, Master Professor Harebrain. Yes, it might be worth quizzing the professor about his relationship with Lord Van Zyx, I think. Sorry about that. Whenever something covers the webcam, it does that. Such as when I'm drinking water. Like, it's water. I understand Lord Van Zyx is a friend of yours from your university days. Yes, that's right. He was studying law while studying science. What was he like back then? A good question. Unassuming, gentlemanly, and an all-around nice fellow, really. Sorry, I think you misheard me. Are we talking about the same guy? I'm talking about the cold-hearted, merciless prosecutor Beric von Zykes. What was he like when he was at university? Talk about a leading question, Runo. As I said, an unassuming and extremely pleasant gentleman. After all, he is the little darling of the Van Zykes family, with all its great aristocratic origins. I didn't realize he quite such a noble blood. Little darling? It was a bit of a shock when I came back to Britain and learned what he'd become. The Reaper of the Bailey, no less. Yes, that's right. I did hear, though, that there was a very big event in his life that completely changed him after his graduation. Really? What sort of event? I'm sorry, but I don't know anymore. I wasn't in the country at the time. I was in Germany already. Oh, yes, of course. If he's heard all about the Reaper, I really don't have the heart to tell him that Lord Van Zykes will be the prosecutor in court tomorrow. So, Professor, let me just make absolutely sure I've understood you properly. The huge explosion that occurred yesterday, that was an accident, you're saying. You had no intent to harm the victim, who was in fact the sole investor in your work. Is that correct? As correct as 2 squared is 4. I swear it. Swear it? Yes, it's true that the man perished in a machine of my invention. So I know I am far from blameless in all this. But still, I would never use my discoveries, my inventions, to take a person's life, not in a centillion years. I'm a man of science. That's all I know. You have to believe me, please. Do you believe me? Do you believe my hypothesis? Science is a pursuit of truth, you know. I've always believed that all my life. I'm afraid I don't know much about science or your theories, but I do believe you, and I will fight to prove your innocence with all my might. I'm a man of the law, and I know it's all I know. You have to believe me, please. When I went to leave Germany after I graduated, I learned something very important. Not nationality, class, lineage, none of that matters. As long as you try your hardest, you can achieve anything. Thank you for that, Professor. And thank you in advance for defending me tomorrow in court. Alright, Runo. It's time to visit the Great Exhibition. Sorry? Well, that's where the incident happened, isn't it? Yes, I suppose that's true. Time to investigate at last. Alright, let's go. So are we gonna be seeing Gregson again? Or is he or has like the detective been changed because of, well, his crimes? Ugh. The showgrounds are a little too big for my liking. We've been walking around in dense crowds for 2 hours now, and I felt myself swooning 3 times! There are a lot of people, aren't there? I've almost been trying to on 3 times too. Careful, won't you, Iris? Don't let go of my hand. We finally made it through the throngs, though, by the look of it. Here we are, underneath the public experimentation stage where the explosion happened yesterday. Whoa. What's that? I can hear voices from on the stage. It sounds like an argument. Right, I've had it with you this time. I'm warning you. I'll arrest you in a minute. Oh yeah? Go on, Spectre. Give it a shot. You ain't got no evidence, and you know it. Wait, I know those voices. You got cheeky little mouth on you, young lady, but a night in the cellar teaches some manners. Just try it. I dare you. If you want to try that bag of chips ran down, if you want that bag of chips ran down your throat. Yeah, yoo-hoo! Rexy, what are you doing up there? It's you! Here! You're here! Here you are! You! Here! Your ladyship! How are you, your ladyship? I do hope you're well, your ladyship. Does that make her 3 times a lady? I'm not well at all. It's far too busy everywhere. I wanted to ride in a balloon, but there was a 3 hour queue. Unbelievable. I'll go have a word for you at once, your ladyship. You'll be flying as high as the kite in no time once I pull some strings for you. Tobias Gregson, an inspector at Scotland Yard. Until recently, he was suspended from duty, but it would appear he's back in action now. He's actually quite well known, appearing in as he does in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. And for that reason, he can't say a word wrong to these stories' author, Iris. But there are limits, surely, or there should be. Watch it, Sunshine. Sorry. What gives it? Don't tell me you're on this case. Yes, I'm acting for the defense. So we're here to investigate. Dear me, that's the situation, is it? Is it really that troubling? Measly 5 bob? Is that all you got? You're loyal, ain't you? You could stand to carry a bit more copper around your pockets, Mr. Otto. What? Hey! That's my last bit of spending money, that is! You can have it back, but I'll have to charge you for it, for all the very bulb. This is Gina Lestrade, a pickpocket or diver born and bred in the East End of London. In the case that led to my own suspension 6 months ago, this is the young girl I was defending in court. She looks nice. What's your problem, eh, Aldo? Diver, pickpocket, what's with all the name calling? You want a bag of chips ran down your throat and all, do you? I thought you were proud to be a diver, Gina. You were just arguing with Inspector Gregson about it, weren't you? I assumed you've been up to your usual tricks here at the show ground. That ain't no way to talk to a lady, Otto. Half a year's a long time. People can change. I'm an apprentice now, learning to be a Scotland Yard detective. So you'll have to call me whatever everyone else does. It's Inspector Lestrade now. Inspector? That badge is homemade, surely! The inspector part isn't entirely accurate. No one calls it that. For what it's worth, anyway. Investigating it is off the cards for all of us. What's that supposed to mean? Right, well, I'll be back up at top. You'll hold the fort down here, alright? Right, sir. This raises a lot of questions. Yeah, it seems a little odd that Gregson would be... that she'd be willingly working with the person who almost got her found guilty by... who could have found her guilty all for Secret Service stuff. Oh, look, what's this? A ripped piece of cloth. It's not like any fabric I've ever seen before. It's very thick and stiff. It looks extremely durable. It's canvas, I think, with some sort of rubber backing, and the edges appear to be charred as well. Maybe that means it had something to do with the explosion. Let's make a note of it while Ginny's mid-yawn. It looks as though somebody dropped something behind the tree just here. Dropped? Or hid? What's this? Some part of the machine that exploded? Maybe. It could have fallen from the platform above it in the blast, perhaps. What's going on here? Oh, nothing. I think I'll hang on to this, just in case. The Crystal Tower. It's certainly an apt name. It was built to be the focal point of the exhibition, and it definitely is, being so tall with all that glass. I can't imagine a building like this ever being erected in Japan. There are lots of exhibits inside the tower as well, apparently. Of course, there's an observation deck, but there's also an art gallery, a zoo, and a museum. But I heard you have to queue for 3 hours just to get through the doors. Well, at the moment, the shattered glass from the failed experiment might well be the biggest draw. And thanks to the accident, the whole tower is shut. Suddenly, it's not a crystal tower anymore, but the crystal glass shower. Apparently, everyone's taking to the skies now to look down on the disaster area from above instead. But there's a 3-hour queue to go up in a balloon now. Londoners must be very patient people. Yeah. Oh boy. Ugh. That's where the cove ended up after his instant kinesis or whatever. Well, that's where the cove ended up after after his instant kinesis or whatever they call it, dead of course. And yet they're calling the experiment a success. Wasn't Wooden sampled there for? The coppers are lad. The coppers are lads set that up after the incident happened. To get the body down, I think. No, really. Didn't you help to erect the scaffold then? Nah, lookout duty's more my thing. Wander around the exhibition and keep it a lookout for the fun stuff. Mind Gregson doesn't hear you saying that, or he'll give you the boot. It's incredible though, isn't it? I mean, could the victim really have bridged the gap by some sort of invisible kinesis? This platform must have been set up for the experiment, I suppose. It's very high up. About 3 feet above the ground, apparently. That's what the policeman I spoke to just said. I don't really understand feet very well. We don't use them in Japan. Oh yes, sorry. It's about 9 meters. But soon you'll have to be in London for a year, Bruno. It's time to get used to our measurements. You guys, do they really use feet in Britain? Yes, well, this is so tall. This thing is so tall. The spectators at the front would have just seen a wall and nothing else. They probably thought they'd secure the best spot to watch from, only to be disappointed. There's a saying in Japan, the darkest spot is right under the lighthouse. I feel like it probably applies here. Yeah. These stairs obviously lead to the stage above. We should go up there and investigate the exact spot where the experiment was being conducted. So that's it, isn't it? The machine that blew up. Ooh, it must have been a magnificent explosion. I've seen my fair share. You've seen things like this before, you mean? Of course, Hurley's always doing experiments that ended with a bang. In fact, in his own words, explosions are the very essence of chemistry. That might explain the smell of burning frequently wafting up the stairs. One time he made something that exploded with such force it took the roof off the building. I wish you'd been in to see it, Bruno. It's hard to get too excited about that, given that I now live in the roof. Well, anyway, that's enough about that. It's time to investigate. Hey look, it's like a Gregson is over there. He seems to be deep in thought about something, whilst eyeing up the machine carefully. Really? He just looks confused to me. We should... Wait, did I miss the chance to talk to... talk to Gina? Okay. Alright, I really want to talk to Gina. It was 8 months ago now that I first encountered Gina, in connection with a case I was working on. At the time, she was living in the East End with a group of other orphans. She helped all of them survive by pickpocketing, but then she got embroiled in a murder. I had a lot of time to think in prison. I realized I couldn't go on like I was. The dive-in weren't working out. Oh, I'm so pleased to hear it, Ginny. Well done. So, you went from being a pickpocket to a detective? You got it. Good, innit? Inspector Lestrade. Sounds like something out of a book, eh? Talk about a sea change. And then there's Iris's old man, Iron Man, to think about. Iris's father, you mean? Yeah, I promised her, didn't I? I said I'd get all the police forces around the world to pull out all the stops looking for him. Just a small promise then, nothing serious. Oh, Ginny, you're so sweet. So anyway, that's how come I had to go on the test for Scotland Yard. Only trouble is I don't read so well, do I? Just a small problem, nothing serious. And that's when Hurley approached Gregson and asked for help. So the inspector said he'd take full responsibility for Ginny and make her a sort of apprentice. That was very magnanimous of Inspector Gregson and brave. Well, you know Hurley. He enjoys finding ways to make people do what he wants. The great detective likes digging for dirt, in other words. I mean, there's not really much dirt to look for in Gregson, considering he freaking took justice in his own hands. You know. So the long and short of it is that you got questions about the case. You can ask Inspector Lestrade. Right then, Inspector. Actually, there's still a big mystery surrounding Gina, isn't there? Ooh, what, Runa, what? Well, 6 months ago, Gina was the defendant in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper. A trial in which she was found not guilty. And yet, here she is. Come on, you're not about that. The Legend of the Reaper or whatever it's called. Oh, you don't have to worry, Otto. If I didn't have to worry, there probably wouldn't be a whole lot of you left. It's like I told you before, ain't it? The Reaper's kind of like him upstairs, so he knows why I'm locking the inside. Okay, inside. That's why that I ain't really done nothing wrong. Nothing wrong might be stretching a point. What about Mr. Natsume in Japan? He's perfectly fine, isn't he? Well, that's true. Perhaps the Reaper is more discerning than I thought. Exactly, so I ain't worried. I'm totally fine. Oh, it's all out of this world it was. The brainy bloke pulled a bunch of levers on his machine and suddenly it's all billowing smoke. Then he just went pop. I ain't seen a better experiment here yet. Sorry? You mean you saw it, Ginny? With your own eyes? Yeah, of course. The boss is in charge. Oh, did any? For keeping everything running smooth, I mean. The boss being Inspector Gregson, I suppose. That's going to be like some getting used to. So I have to say that I'm on duty, and I can do whatever. So all I have to say is I'm on duty, and I can do whatever I want to. Get this, I've been one of those flying balloons when it happened, watching it from above. No, you're so lucky, Ginny. Maybe I should join Scotland Yard too. Yeah, do it. You know how to put the boss in his place already, right, Iris? You have no trouble at all. Then it's settled. When do I start? No, you can't join Scotland Yard, Iris. Not yet. We'll see. Anyway, I don't understand this. If the machine exploded so spectacularly, how could Professor Bunnybrain still be claiming that the experiment was a success? Oh, right. Well, it was a success in a way. It was? How can it have been? Surely after the whole machine blew up, no one could call the experiment a success. It's like I said, it did sort of work. I mean, yeah, there was a load of smoke and all that whopping great bang. But where did you think they found the victim's body, eh? In the crystal tower over there. What? In the tower? Up there. You can see for yourself, can't ya? Up there on the scaffold. Oh, where all the glasses broken, you mean? Yeah, the cage what the victim got in to start with really did get beamed through the air or whatever and landed all the way over there. So, you see, it did kind of work, didn't it? What? I don't believe it! I mean, I don't get the ins and outs of it, but anything's possible, right? With science. I tell you what, you can have this. It's a plan of the experiment they drew up at the yard. Are you sure? Yeah, go on. I had 3 balls off before you. It's so fair, it's fair. Yes, I didn't actually give that to you. Did I? I'm just glad she's smiling more. Something Inspector Gregson said before seemed a little strange. For what it's worth, anyway. Investigating is off the cards for all of us. Yes, naughty old Gregson ran off after that without explaining himself. Oh right, that. The boss said no one's allowed to investigate that weird machine what blew up yesterday. Well, that's not fair. We're representing the defendant. In that case, could you at least tell us what you've learned from the investigations? Nah, you're not getting it. We ain't allowed to investigate neither. Why? What did the boss call him again? The Forensic Investigations Team, I think? Anyway, apart from them lot, no one's allowed to lay a finger on the scene. Bit funny, innit? So even Scotland Yard's own detectives can't investigate. Yes, I've never heard of that before. I thought I could have a gander on the quiet, though, but the boss caught me at it. You probably heard him giving me the info before from down there, didn't you? It's not bleeding fair. I think you were giving him as much of the earful back as I remember it. Yeah, well, sometimes I think it's all that chest that won't make him so stubborn. You say something to him, Otto. Go on, see if you can get through him. He's up on the platform above, isn't he? Where the machine that exploded is. We could try, can't we, Bruno? First, he will listen to us. Well. This armband is proof, in Japan at least, that I'm a defense lawyer. And this badge is proof that I'm a detective. So you're all gonna have to start calling me Inspector Lestrade. In that case, you'll have to start calling me, well, anything but Otto. I could call you Defendant, not Otto if you'd like, but it don't really tip off the trunk. No, it doesn't have a great ring up, does it? Yeah, we'll take a look at. Oh, where did it go? Looking for this, Otto? When did you do that? I wondered if you had something else to show me, eh? What do you reckon? Give that back first, please. She's still up to her old tricks. I love it. Okay, now let's go up. Man, this is taking a while. Oh boy. It ripped itself apart magnificently, didn't it? Magnificently and mercilessly. So someone stands in the middle of the machine to be disassembled and then beamed through the air? Yes, beamed. Not blasted. That's the point. Yes, that part's crucial, really. Is something like that even possible though, Iris? Oh, Bruno, I'm just a child. How should I know? A child when it suits you, you mean? From what I can tell, I think if you were to pull this— STOP! Don't touch that! That was practically instantaneous kinesis the way you flew over just now, Gregsy. Please, your ladyship, I didn't mean to startle you, but I can't let you touch anything up here. So sorry. You can have some of my latest special blend to make up for it. Wait, could I have— oh no. Wonderful. This stuff really is wonderful. It's just like old times, this is. We're representing Professor Hairbrain in court tomorrow, Inspector, so we should be allowed to examine the scene. Ha! Listen, Sunshine, even I'm not allowed to touch anything up here. It's a blasted special dispensation for scientific equipment act to blame. You're driving me potty! Yes, that special dispensation. The professor mentioned that too. More red tape's all we need. I don't know what the government thinks it's playing at sometimes. But we're allowed to just look, aren't we? Eh? Surely that's alright, isn't it, Gracie? Go to ladyship, anything you say, ladyship, but please don't get your dainty hands dirty, will you? Don't worry. We wouldn't dream of touching anything, wouldn't we, Bruno? She really knows how to get what she wants. Well, what is that gigantic thing over there? It looks like an enormous water wheel. Oh, that's a Ferris wheel. There'll be people right inside those little cabins you could see. Why? Well, they rotate nice and slowly, and it's a wonderful way to see the surrounding scenery. Wait, it's turning? It looks completely still. Yes, that's because it's turning so slowly. Slowly, one complete revolution takes about half an hour. Oh my gosh. If you were mad enough to go in one, it would be more fun to whiz around fast, wouldn't you think? I feel as though you might have just invented a new sort of ride there, Bruno. Considering how badly damaged everything is, Professor Hairbrain was lucky to escape unscathed, I say. We should have a good look around the machine while we can, I think. touch anything, I'll make sure I'll kill you before I get struck out myself, you hear? I won't touch a thing, I promise, so please spare a thought for your digestion. Anyway, do you really think this machine could actually disassemble people like the professor claims? He asks, looking totally incredulous. Give it a rest, Sunshine. If we were allowed to examine all the bleeding scrap metal, maybe we could answer the question. But we can't, can we? Because of the annoying rules, you mean? Exactly! The annoying, obstructive, flaming rules! Oh, well, look at the face of the machine there. Oh yes, there's a tool of some kind poking through the wire mesh. It's a screwdriver, I think. Oh, isn't it a lovely one? The handle's in the shape of a capital letter A. Is it? Oh yes, you're right. What's the matter with you? Don't touch anything, I said! Don't take that away, you I said. Yes, I understand. Sorry, if only I always touch a teeny weeny bit. But Gregsy, I'm very curious about the screwdriver. Really very, very curious. Of course, your ladyship. You're so clever, your ladyship. As we spotting something like this. I'm afraid I can't let you have it. But Bruno found it first. I assure you, I'll investigate it thoroughly. He's gone off with it. That was very mean, I'm afraid. Inspector Gregsy is going to make a very clumsy, embarrassing mistake in next installment now. Poor Gregsy. There are also like strange buildings in here with they got great exhibition grounds, aren't they? I seem to remember something being similar to being exhibited in Japan one time. Oh, in your country, Bruno? I do wish I could go and see it. I present a particularly steely samurai with the present of one of Hurley's stories I'd written especially. A steely samurai? What? And see if I couldn't get Hurley into a jam against some Baritsu Master Ninjas. You might not find as many of those sorts of people around as you think. Oh, well, that's dull. Oh, but I do know a prosecutor with a Chanmage top knot I can introduce you. A Chanmage, really? Do you think I could have my texture stick with him, do you? Assuming he's recovered from the trim Kazuma gave him a year. Oh, yes. Oh, wow. Those are people carrying balloons dangling silently in the skies over London. I always thought the day would come when humans would discover how to fly, but I never imagined it would involve them being suspended from colorful floating Tenmari handballs. I'm sure it must feel amazing being up there among the clouds. Let's ride together, Runo, please. If I'm being perfectly honest, I would like to try it, but without a cast iron guarantee that the thing won't plummet to the ground, I'm too scared. Oh, well, in that case, I should tell you what Hurley said. It's physically impossible for a flying balloon to plummet to the ground, as long as it doesn't explode. Yes, call me crazy, but I think that exploding part might play in my mind a little. That amazing horn-shaped device is pointing towards the crystal tower. I suppose once people are disassembled by the machine, they're shot out of that thing to wherever they're going? I don't think it was supposed to shoot anything, Runo. It was set up to beam people to the crystal tower where they reconstructed in their original form. Well, I don't like the look of it. If it wasn't as amazing as it looks, the accident wouldn't have happened in the first place, of course. I suppose that's true, yes. But nothing ever goes according to plan, does it? Yeah. Well, he doesn't pass muster. You might as well check in the deep fat fryer. No one's ever said that to me before. Mr. Sholm suggested I said that I feed it to the dog. Dog, though. If you fry it first, you can feed it to me. Does he think it's made of potato? It looks like crossbow? Like, it looks like a weird... It looks like a crossbow, honestly. Ah, there's some sort of lever here. It is a crossbow. What the? What is this? It looks like a cross between a bow and a gun. I think it's probably used for the same thing too. It's a crossbow. It's a friggin' crossbow. What in the heck? This groove here must be where the arrows are loaded, I suppose. So I was right, it's some sort of bow with an automatic firing mechanism. This would be perfect for someone like me who catches his ear with the bowstring one or two times. In fact, if I had one of these, maybe I could have beaten Kazuma in Kyoto archery training. It looks like you wind this around in order to draw the bowstring back and create tension. You must be able to fire arrows with a huge amount of force using this device then. In fact, I would imagine it's far more accurate and powerful than a Japanese longbow. I really had no idea what I was picking up when I spotted this at the exhibition ground. It looks like layers of thick canvas with a thick rubber lining of sorts. I've never seen anything like it before, but applying Mr. Shulman's method, you might deduce it was part of a raincoat worn by someone who really didn't want to get wet. And the charring must have occurred when a person was struck by lightning. Or maybe not. Okay. Nothing too crazy here. Using high voltage electricity to somehow disassemble a man's body, and then beam him across the crystal tower. It's an extraordinary thing to attempt, especially in public. True, it was by far the most unusual of the experiments planned for the exhibition, mind. To be honest, I'm a bit surprised it was allowed. Carrying out something so dangerous with so many spectators present, I mean. The government's doing everything it can to promote new science and technology at the moment. They're more worried about being ahead of the game than the onslaught of public safety infringements. If they can be the first to develop some new technology, it makes Britain more powerful in the future, you see. Yes, I suppose that's true, in a way. So the powers that are placing heavy emphasis on scientists' rights at the moment. What sort of rights? They're making it so that any theories the brains have remained their legal property, as it were, right through developing into a practical idea, even going into production. Copyright, right? Patents, which is an infuriating reason us coppers aren't allowed to touch this crime scene, because the new highfalutin Special Suspension for Scientific Equipment Act forbids it. I see now. Even the cops don't like copyright law. The only people with permission to investigate here are from some brand new department at the Yard. The Forensic Investigation Team, it's called. We've been relegated to keeping guard. The Forensic Investigation Team. Any old fool can see that this heap of scrap metal was a sham to begin with, but just because this is scientific equipment on the paperwork, we can't do a flaming thing with it. Poor Gregzy. He's very head up, isn't he? Remind me again, what's this new legal act that means we're not allowed to touch the scene here? Are you having me at it, Sunshine? It's a special dispensation for Special Scientific Equipment Act. Yes, I think Hurley mentioned that recently, with a real twinkle in his eyes, I remember. I'm sure he did, Your Ladyship, I'm sure he did. Perhaps especially for this great exhibition it was. And also, just have to do is present their ideas or inventions in substance to the civil service. And if it gets rubber stamped, it's a guarantee of rights to maintain the invention's confidentiality. What does that really mean? Think about it. Think of all the world-changing new inventions on display every day at this exhibition. Although a good half of them are a load of cobblers, if you ask me, put forward by shammers like yourself. Thanks for that. Oh, I love how absurd some of the inventions here are. It's also fun. It might be fun to you, but a member of the force has to be present at every single demonstration. Can you imagine, eh? Hang science, that's what I say. Oh, I don't think so. That sounds like my dream job. You'd soon think otherwise after spending a day guarding all these shamas. Bogus contraptions. But if they're all bogus, how could anyone hope to demonstrate them? There'd be no point. Yeah, well, there is a point, sadly. Sorry? Thanks to another one of our government's bright ideas, if any theory or invention is deemed to show potential, the government hands out a research grant. Does scientists get funding? Exactly. And that's what they're all after. All the shamas here from far and wide to clog up Hyde Park. And who has to keep them all safe here? Who has to smile politely and welcome them? Us coppers. That's who. So you can see why I say it now, can't you? Hang science, hang it! Oh, maybe I can see your point. Apparently, Professor Harebrained lives and works in Germany, now conducting his research. That's right, came back to Britain especially for the Great Exhibition, as I understand it. Probably after one of the government's research grants. Actually, we learned something else about the professor earlier today, about his time in further education. It turns out he was at university with someone we both know, Lord Van Zykes. Yeah, what's that? That's news to me. Well, what if Van Zykes demands the prosecution, then as accused, the professor's fate is sealed because the Reaper will get him one way or another? Blimey, that man's beyond me. I don't know what goes in the head of his. Talking about Van Zykes, this morning's paper of the story about him being attacked. Read that? Yeah, but Mr. Reaper is completely fine. Nothing to worry about. Yes, right. Glad to hear it. Still, the Reaper, huh? How long is that business gonna keep up? I wonder. The victim in this case, the investor, Mr. Asman, he was another of the Reaper's victims, or so I heard. Lord Van Zykes is a top-class prosecutor, but even he can't always push the right verdict through. Sometimes justice can't win. Yes, I've heard about jurors being bribed and evidence being falsified. And that's how the notion of the Reaper of the Daily came about, isn't it? Obviously, Scotland Yard suspected Van Zykes initially. We all assumed he was taking matters into his own hands if he failed to see the deal in court, although the man himself denies that charge. Well, we've done a very good, thorough investigation, and the conclusion we reached is that Lord Van Zykes is in no way related to the deaths of those people outside the courtroom. There's no question in my mind. I'd stake my reputation on it, I would. But if that's true, how do you explain it? All the defendants couldn't have just coincidentally died if nobody killed them. I know that, but I can't explain it. It's a mystery after all, isn't it? That's the whole point of the Reaper. Professor Harebrained mentioned something else. He said that the university Lord Van Zykes was a totally different person, easygoing and kind. You what? He said that it was after they both graduated that something happened to change the man. Do you have any idea what it was? No clue. Really? Look, I've got my hands full watching over this frustrating crime scene. Why don't you go and make a nuisance of yourself elsewhere, eh? Right. Are you done here, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry, is it about time you were leaving? Or rather, it is about time you were leaving. That lot are here now. That lot? The forensic investigation team. They're about to be giving me the heave-ho they're giving me the heave-ho in a minute too. Oh dear, poor Gracie. Here, have another cup of my special blend to cheer you up. Glug, glug, glug. Ah, that hit the spot. Yep, hits every time. Well, at least I've seen the sea with my own eyes. It looks like this is as far as we're going to get with our investigations here, at least. I've been thinking, Hurley might know something, might he? Mightn't he? About what? About Mr. Reaper. About what happened to Lord Ben's, you mean? Because it sounds like something very significant occurred after he graduated from university. Something that completely changed his life. Maybe, but I have no idea where to find Mr. Sholmes at the moment. He's in the middle of some big case, isn't he? Here, this is what you need. What's this? Some kind of entrance ticket? Madame Tussauds. Is this supposed to be mean something to me? You don't know it? It's the most popular attraction in London at the moment. It's very close to Baker Street, actually. We could go now if you'd like. No, we don't have time for visiting attractions today, Iris. We have a big trial tomorrow. But that's where Hurley is. What? At this popular London attraction? Yes. How is it that you know where he is? Hurley told me. But he told me to keep it a secret from you, Bruno. Madame Tussauds? I don't know how it could be related to the case we're investigating here, but then stranger things have happened. And when they happen, Mr. Sholmes is usually at the heart of them. Holy cow, this investigation has taken a while. It's been 2 hours now. Holy cow. The Wax Museum. Ah! 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 What is this place? Look at all these terrifying scenes, but why aren't all the people so still? Guillotines, ruthless murderers. I know what I'll be dreaming about tonight. They're all wax models. They're mainly realistic, aren't they? What do you think, Bruno? Shocked? Wax models? Ah! I read about the dead bodies and wax once in a magazine about strange phenomena. Depending on how corpses are kept after death, parts of them can turn to wax. Apparently, it's called Dipicate? Stop talking about creepy things like that, Bruno. You're scaring me. Anyway, What now? It doesn't form readily, you know. It's only in very specific. What now? I've just remembered something else I read in another magazine about strange phenomena. There was an old lady, maybe a witch, who used the poor molten wax of a corpse to put them on display. None of the exhibits here are real. They're all entirely man-made replicas. They can't be. Do you really expect me to believe that? Just look at them! Oh. There's no way anyone could make models of people that are this realistic. And they're all such gruesome scenes. Wait. What is it? Oh, no. I must be seeing Well, Is this some infamous murderer? Yes, called Jane the Ripper. All her victims were young women. I knew it. You should tell by the way she's holding that knife. She was a murderer. Well, yes. What's the matter, Bruno? I worked it out. I know what she's doing. She's trying to fill that bathtub with blood and you have a soak in her victim's gore. Not according to the information that the exhibit on the little board here. It doesn't mention anything about the bathtub. Really? Sorry, I don't think it's significant. I still think it has to be there for a reason. That big heavy curtain is in a very prominent position, isn't it? I have a nasty feeling there's going to be something truly terrifying behind it. Oh yes, that's the famous Tussauds special exhibit. It depicts one of England's most mysterious killers. You want to pay the extra fee and have a look? Pay more money to be even more terrified? Oh, let me think about that for a moment. Let me think about it. It was only a suggestion. Why is this an arm? It looks like an arm, doesn't it? Maybe one of the waxworks models has fallen over. You don't think it could be the work of one of the mass murderers in here, do you? Bruno, stop scaring me. Is it a wax arm or a real one? Come on, you're always pointing the finger of yours in court. Poke that arm now and see how it feels. Objection! These models are so well made, I can't tell what's waxwork and what's real human. Or maybe all the exhibits are real people, and when it's closing time and all the visitors have gone home, they suddenly start moving about. Just thinking about it made me wish it was closing time already and I was on my way home. Is this an example of Western Sujigiri? I don't know what that is. You know, when an unscrupulous samurai randomly attacks a passerby, has a sword. Oh, I've heard of that. It's really fascinating, actually. It's just like it's really. I mean, it's bad samurai, but I mean, apparently it was a thing where where some samurai would just do that. Of course, that wouldn't be allowed, but I still don't know. No. But actually, a waxwork samurai would probably be hugely popular. Could you model it, do you think, Bruno? Doing that Sujigiri thing you mentioned? Well, I do a sword, but I have no intention of testing how sharp it is on a human subject, for now at least. It's... The great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes has an old wax statue in here? Really? Well, he is world famous after all. It's an uncanny resemblance, isn't it? It makes my skin crawl to look at it. I know. But look, Reno, you can kick this Shirley and he doesn't move a muscle. You can't go around kicking the exhibits, Iris! Wait. It just moved, I'm sure. And not just a little bit either. Really? Did it? And look closely, there are beads of sweat on the face of this waxwork model. Sholmes. Shall we move on, Iris? Over there, look, there's a great murder scene to enjoy, much more appealing.
Hold it!
My dear fellow, I take exception to you recording in such a manner as if you've seen something truly abhorrent. Mr. Sholmes. I knew it. Iris, what possessed you? I strictly forbid you from divulging my temporary waxwork secret to Mrs. Mahodo. Temporary waxwork? What do you mean? And I kick you not exercise a little more restraint, you winded me! But Bruno has something he needs to ask you. Question. And I thought you'd probably be getting bored too. So here we are. Well, I can't deny that your timing was impeccable. I made it 2 minutes before being stationary like that. And my great brain, upon being with all my success had been built, would have turned to wax. Thank goodness we arrived in time. Indeed, in many ways, the pair of you just saved the world from an unimaginable loss. Oh, Hurley, you do like to talk nonsense, don't you? He could know something that's true about Lord Van Zykes and what happened in the past to change him. Now that you're here, let's take our time. How can I be assistance? For your luck, I'm suddenly quite taken with the idea of conversing. Oh, well, actually, I'm in quite a hurry. And if my eyes don't deceive me, I believe something is afoot within the walls of this very museum. A most fascinating case, if I'm not mistaken. Really. Moreover, I have a strong suspicion that it's related to the matter of which you come to me now. But how could it be? We shall speak again presently, my dear fellow, but for now I must return to my walk. But back to being a temporary waxwork exhibit? What is this place? Madame Tussbells came to London from France 3 years ago, I understand. Since she opened this little waxwork museum last year, it's enjoyed great popularity in London. There are museums like this in Japan too, but these displays are something else. I mean, they aren't made from actual real people, are they? The extreme realism of these waxworks models is a particular secret of the Tussbells family, they say. They earned renown during the French Revolution for waxworks of victims of the guillotine. Oh, that sounds grim. The gruesome scenes were portrayed with such realism in the expressions of the faces of the condemned. Apparently, the sculptors would make the models directly from the corpses, right at the site of the execution. That really turns my stomach! That's just one of the several legends about the Tussbells family. Whether there's any truth, I couldn't say. But anyway, this museum houses models of famous people from all over the globe. Nevertheless, the most popular area of the museum by quite some margin is this House of Horrors. House of Horrors? Of course, visitor numbers are dwindling now as the result of the Great Exhibition, but people usually flock here to see the exhibits of some of London's most vile criminals at their gruesome work. Naturally, most of the miscreants portrayed here were sent to the gallows. So, they're even stiffer now than the models of them. Have you heard of poor taste? My dear Philip, the public live for poor taste. They yearn to be shocked. So, the hideous exhibits in here are... They're all portrayals of real events that actually took place. Is it just me, or did the temperature in here just seem to drop? Anyway, I advise you not to think too deeply about what you see here. Oh, he's back to being a waxwork, is he? What do you mean by a temporary waxwork, Mr. Sholmes? Exactly what you see. I'm part of the exhibits here, catching these criminals in the act. Catching them? Every half hour, I home in on a different killer in one of the displays and adopt a new pose to ensnare him, which, when members of the public come for true comfort, I offer them my hand to shake. For a shilling, I happily allow them to take a photograph with us. Us? Does he mean him and the waxwork murderers in here? Why, Mr. Sholmes? My dear fellow, isn't it obvious? For the money! He really roared at me there, very fitting for the House of Horrors. As it stands, I may struggle to pay this month's rent, and I have the ravenous iris to consider. Oh, Hurley, I'm so hungry. If push comes to shove, I shall have to ask you to do your bit, Mr. Naruhodo. What's he threatening to rope me into now? So, with that in mind, how about a photograph? As a special treat, you may have your pick of the murderers and scoundrels in here. The choice is yours. Maybe it's another time. Remember, Mr. Naruhodo, ignore me at your peril. The speed of these final remarks that are being sound like a lot like a curse. Well, what is it you like to ask me then? Actually, it's about Lord Van Zykes. Ah, friend Mr. Reaper. How did you find it? Well, I trust. And so I fill Mr. Sholmes in about everything I've learned. About Lord Van Zykes, about the Professor Harebrained, about the strange coincidence that they had been at the university together. So I'm wondering what it was that happened to make Lord Van Zykes such a different person. I was sure you know, Hurley. You said there was something going on in here that exhibit hall before, that something was afoot, and that you believed it was related to what I wanted to ask you about. Mr. Sholmes suddenly clammed up. Well, it seems we've reached the unavoidable... Greetings! Hello? Where did she appear from? What is she wearing? Could she look any more mysterious? I hope you are appreciating my museum. Sorry, have we? Mr. Sholmes, do you know this? Not again! My apologies. I'm Esmeralda Tuspels. This is my Museum of Waxworks. What? You're Madame Tuspels? Bien sûr. Only 26 years young, I might add. Is that significant somehow? I'm a madame in name only. It adds a certain je ne sais quoi. Right. Firstly, I must apologize for my waxworks, or rather, one waxwork in particular. I don't mean Mr. Sholmes then. I was led to believe he was a great detective, but he seems unable to settle. Next time you move from your designated exhibit, there will be toil and trouble. She sounds deadly serious. That's a problem. How am I supposed to ask Mr. Sholmes about Lord Van Sykes now? Let's not forget what Hurley said before, about something being afoot. Right here in the museum, I mean. Yes, I know. But I'm so curious. I want to know what's happening here. Haven't we got enough on our plate already? He's not even blinking now. He really is a perfect model, waxwork model. I know it doesn't always seem like it, but Hurley's quite a perfectionist, in fact. He practices at night sometimes instead of sleeping, not blinking, I mean. Well, practice makes perfect, I suppose. I just realized, though, seeing him standing over there now, he looks like he's that murderer's accomplice, doesn't he? Or henchman, even. That's news to someone, by the look of it. Man, we're going pretty long with this one. Did you make all these waxwork mantle spells? I did. I am the third generation of waxwork Mount Edison's, you know. Gosh. It was my grandmother who began the tradition in my family. Her fortunes were checkered, living through the turbulent times of the French Revolution as she did, though that is when she acquired the savoir-faire that leads to the astonishing lifelessness. All these waxwork really do look like they're alive. In fact, they look more alive than Hurley. What you see exhibited here represents the most atrocious of New London's criminal past. All the waxworks were created in the presence of the real people on which they are modeled. In the hours immediately following their executions, that is the secret to the extraordinary lifelessness. That sounds terrifying. All the walks of life has similar challenges, I'm sure. To carry out one's trade par excellence, and must go to extraordinary lengths. My exhibits are a reflection of society. I create only that which the public wishes to see. Ugh. Why couldn't the public have wished for something less horrifying? Do not fear. Sorry? This room is the only one in the museum with such a macabre theme. I do hope you'll explore. There are models of famous singers, actors, politicians, something for every taste, I hope. It was Iris who dragged me straight in here, come to think of it. Sorry, perhaps I should have eased you into things. What's the situation with that? Ah, my temporary waxwork model. He approached me some days ago, you see, with a business proposal. Oh, what sort of proposal? My dear madam, what these spare exhibits need is the addition of a world-famous great detective. Or words to that effect. Naturally, I'm well aware that Mr. Sholmes is widely known in London as a talented detective. It's great detective, actually. He's very specific about it. Yes, the creme de la creme. So I was keen to come to some arrangement with him, of course. But sadly, we were unable to agree terms. Let me guess. Someone wanted to charge an exorbitant price for his services? For a mere £500! I will dive into your cauldron of wax this very moment. Or words to that effect. Mr. Scholes might have overdone it slightly with the sales pitch. Regrettably, the museum has a shortage of funds at the moment due to unforeseen circumstances. So we came to the current arrangement instead. Sure, he doesn't really need to do what he's doing though, does he? I would think not, but he was very insistent. I have a 50 shilling problem that must be resolved by the morning. Or words to this effect. It's a pawnbroker, that's what it is. He must have had some money redeemed. Is the consultant detective work not going so well? I wonder, could I ask you something? Bien sûr. I'm just curious, is anything going on in the museum at the moment? Some kind of incident, perhaps? Whoever suggested such a thing to you? Oh, well, it was... What? Your temporary waxwork over there you mentioned a little... Oh, he disappeared. A wax model is a work of art, not some tawdry object of trade. Huh? But there you are. Leaving the exhibit again when you should be working? Okay. Do you wish to be melted down? My dear Madam Tuspel, save your reprimands. There are more pressing concerns. The wax can wait. It's our ideas about your current problem that we must throw in the melting pot instead. Personally, I would advise you not to involve the police. Why ever not? She turned as white as a sheet. Because you have at your disposal a great detective, whose services you may employ for a mere 50 shillings. Though, please be aware that I prefer... No, I insist upon payment in advance. Very well. Let us see if the great detective is able to live up to his name, shall we? Before I engage my analytical processes, I must ask you to clarify something. Oh boy, I don't know if... Oh boy. Have we really... Oh man. I need something... Something. What, pray, is behind the curtain? That is the Tuspel's special exhibit. There is an extra charge to see it. Ah, the special exhibit in the House of Horrors. It must depict a special killer then, I presume. Would you be so kind as to draw back the curtain? I wonder. Absolutely not. None. There's nothing amiss behind there. Nothing amiss, madam? What about the arm protruding ominously from under the curtain? I strongly encourage you to allow me to see what lies beyond, before the situation worsens. Yes, very well. I'll draw back the curtains, but only on Socom. I must confess, I peeked behind the curtain earlier. The Tuspel special exhibit is a very bleak graveyard scene indeed. And yet somewhat surprising, the waxwork killer one would expect is nowhere to be seen. What does strike one, however, is a portly gentleman lying peacefully on his back on the floor. Huh? Well then, perhaps Mr. Sholmes, that man on the floor is the ruthless killer himself? I'm afraid not, my dear fellow. He's a perfectly ordinary London gentleman, not even a waxwork in fact. What? As skillfully made as these waxworks are, they are always distinguishable from real humans. So, let me present my two conclusions. Oh boy. If this goes into one of those deductions, then I'm gonna have to cut it here because it's getting really late. The first is a sizable business transaction has been taking place in the special exhibit. Why would you say that? And the second is that the aforementioned transaction is linked to a serious crime. She looks as pale as candle wax. I don't understand. So, Madam Tuspel. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Slayer. As you reach my feed, you shall now have the pleasure of seeing this famously dream detective and February exhibit at work. Okay, unfortunately, it's getting really late, and this part is actually going to be. I'm going to have to call it here. I'd rather not have to cut a chapter in half, but it's been already 2.5 hours, so and it's getting really late, so I'm going to have to call it here for tonight. So, but yeah. But in the meantime, I guess we'll do a raid. Who should we raid tonight? Oh well, I mean.